What's going on, y'all? And yes, we are back. I told it's going to be weekly.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's good because they want to hear us.
Okay.
That's why we here. You are tuned into Anxious Wow. We talk about a plethora of things from self-identity, mental health, wellness, how it impacts all of us. I say it all the time, being an adult is ghetto. Nothing is off limits, and we about to have a great time. Hi, I'm Emperor, and yes, that is my birth name.
And I'm Teve. And as always, welcome to our returning listeners and welcome to the newbies as well. Let's tap in, stay a while, and let's get into it.
You said, let's stay a while. Oh, that's my song by Jan. That's a good song. Let's stay a while.
I don't know if I ever heard that.
What? We're going to give you a pass. We're going to hear it later on today.
Okay. So what's making you anxious for this week?
Honestly, I'm going to be real with you. Like, my schedule has just been driving me crazy. I know you mentioned last week you've been living by a calendar and it's been helping you out. And I think I'm going to have to start taking some of that because I have more on my plate. I'm doing more at work with personal things. You know, I am working towards some really exciting things that I want to share yet until it happens. I like to wait till things happen before I share them. So I'm waiting for that to happen. But it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of learning. And I don't know about y'all, but losing your mental power is exhausting. What about you? That's how I said it.
I'm planning 2 big events.
Okay.
One in the U.S., one in Mexico.
You said international.
Yeah, I'm an international planner now.
Oh,
okay.
Y'all heard, right? All right, international.
And they're 2 weeks apart. And
like a paycheck?
Yeah, I'll have to fly for 5 days for each of them. I'm tired thinking about it, but it's exhilarating, tiring, stressful, exciting. I probably done said a bunch of the same synonyms, but whatever.
It's on one side and it's great and it's stressful, but it's exhilarating and it's whatever. But guess what? You're doing big moves, you're doing big things. And it just comes with just leveling up every day. Like, you know, you said last episode that you've been saying and doing a bunch of things different to kind of take yourself to the next level. Yeah. And I feel like it's working for you now. Like, look at everything that's happening for you. It's going to be a great year.
It is. So let's get into the topic of the day.
Coffee or tea?
Are you trying to switch your topic up?
I'm joking with y'all, guys. So the topic of the day is the difference between a bad habit and a vice. Ooh, that's going to be very interesting because some people don't know the difference. Yeah. But we're going to hit you with the definition, explain to you guys what's the difference and how to potentially help some of y'all because...
a lot of people try to cover up their vices with bad habits. You're like, no, it's just a bad habit.
No, it's not a bad habit. No, baby girl,
it's a vice.
It's a vice.
And not Miami.
And not advice either.
Yeah.
Miami sounds like fun. I haven't been there in a while, since 2023. Yeah, we need to go back down there. It was fun. I got my life down there. But yeah, this ain't the time for it. We're just going to give you some advice about vices.
The difference between a vice and a bad habit really comes down to the intensity, the impact, and the intent, which is a lot to think about.
It is. It was a bunch of words that probably have people spiraling right now.
The 3 I's.
Right.
A definition of a bad habit. A bad habit is a repetitive behavior that may be annoying, unproductive, or mildly harmful, but doesn't necessarily cause significant damage to your well-being or relationships. Whereas a vice is a deeper, often compulsive or indulgent behavior that can have more of a profound impact on mental, emotional, or physical health.
Ooh. Based off of that very specific definition, I'll be honest with a lot of people, I don't think any of them really have bad habits. It giving vice, and more vices. Oh my gosh.
And I think people are probably still trying to figure out if they have a bad habit or a vice. An example of a bad habit can be like biting your nails, procrastinating to an extent, excessive phone use, or interrupting people in conversations.
That's my bad habit. Because I'll be interrupting people. I don't know what it is. I just
like
talk
now.
Too much.
Yeah.
Touche.
An example of a vice could be over drinking, smoking, compulsive gambling, emotional manipulation, or self-sabotage. Whereas, like I said, procrastinating could be either, because if you procrastinate too much, that can fall under self-sabotage.
What about like gluttony? People who eat too much. I mean, that can be a bad habit and it could turn into a vice.
It depends.
I think things start as bad habits and it turns into a vice. I feel like that's just like the pathway to
After with the 21-day rule, it becomes a vice.
You know what? That's when something becomes a habit or not. So, like a good habit, brushing
Mhm.
your teeth. A bad habit, not brushing your teeth. But then it could
Is
turn
brushing
into a
your teeth
vice.
a habit?
Yeah. It needs to be habitual. I don't know. Biting your nose, like you said. Yeah, there are people who do it, but a lot of times it has to do with like nervousness.
Yeah.
So then you want to figure out what that is before it gets worse. It could start with biting your nails and it could turn into something else. I just feel like a lot of things start, even gambling. You can gamble, and then when it becomes frequent and when it starts to take over your life, and then you start betting, like your partner's wedding ring or your house,
Yeah,
that's
when it become
crazy.
compulsive, yeah.
Yeah, like I think it's just that's the main word,
Like
like when
that
it's
video of
compulsive.
that man in Vegas
Oh,
crying on
crying
the
on the
floor.
floor? Ooh, he was like, no, no. I was like, yes, you lost it all.
I was in Vegas in the end of January, and I was in the airport coming home, and there was a man sitting down on the bench looking like his whole world just ended. I was like, I wonder if he betted everything away.
He did. You know that feeling. You could walk past people, you go, I can feel it. You don't have to
Yeah.
say nothing. Silence, a lot of times, is bigger than people speaking. I remember when I went to Atlantic City. I'm gonna go there now.
And
Long time ago, with someone who I'm not gonna mention because
No shade to Atlantic City.
nope. And we walking past like the strip. We went to go eat and like do whatever. You hear them like, I can't believe it. No shoes on their feet.
Sure you weren't in the Port Authority?
I wasn't in the Port Authority. And I
Oh.
was like, homelessness? And the person's like, no, like these people lost it all. Like they don't have anything. Like they probably gambled their shoes. I'm like, you that desperate gambled your shoes? So you walking
They
on
must have been
concrete
some
with your
nice
feet?
shoes.
Huh?
Must have been some nice shoes.
Well, I can't tell. They don't got nothing on their feet. That's crazy.
I'm sure some of them probably needed something on their feet.
Yeah,
too.
they need something. But it's sad because vices destroy lives.
Yeah.
Someone who smokes cigarettes all the time, like smoking cigarettes is bad. It literally says on the pack, it is bad for you. It's not back in the day when they had the Newport thing, people was with the camel looking cute. Like that's not a thing. Like it's bad for you. It ages you, you stink, it thins your hair out. It's not good for you. Like it's not a cool thing. You know what's cool? Go to the gym. Go drink some water. Do something. You smoke a cigarette, like, yeah, look at me. No.
Well, just make sure we're drinking water in the right states. But yeah.
Just order water.
Remember, we got in a whole argument with someone on social media about where the clean water is at.
Well, clearly it's not where they at, the way they was responding. Just order water.
So let's dive in a little deeper into this. When you correct a bad habit, it can often be corrected with self-discipline, awareness, or small behavioral changes, whereas vices are harder to break. And they tend to be coping mechanisms, or it's a personality disorder, or you have like an addictive tendency.
So I come from a space where a lot of us have addictive personalities, and I've seen it. You might choose one poison for another, and it's really bad. I remember a long time ago, I would buy ice cream like every day. I'm like, oh my God, I'm buying ice cream, and I would buy it. I'm like, you're buying ice cream every single day? This is crazy. You're addicted to it, and you have to like figure this out. And then it went from ice cream to like cookies. It was something I was like, you just keep buying bad stuff. Like,
Oh
so
my God,
I had to change.
I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say you
Coke?
jumped from crack to meth.
I know someone who jumped from weed to meth.
It's quite a jump.
And I don't know where they're at right now. I don't know they don't have custody of their kids. But anyway, that's another conversation. It can happen. People who have those type of addictive things, they end up like relying on vices. That's just what it is. I've seen it happen. I know someone who has a terrible gambling problem. Put $2,000 in the machine, spin, win $15,000. I'm like, pull out. $15,000? Nope. Spend, eat it all up. They didn't want to ask me, can I borrow $800? Absolutely not. You have $15,000.
I'm walking away after I win $20.
I know you are.
I'm like, I could have bought something with that. I could have got some food, got some socks, something tangible.
$20? What food you buying with $20 in New York City?
A salad?
We gonna get this lettuce?
I can get a salad for $20.
Where? We ain't getting nobody no names.
I can go to SG. I can go to C. I can go to anywhere. I can go to get a teriyaki bowl from G.
Okay, a lot of letters going
on. And you knew exactly what all of them were.
I showing up there. Shout out to the alphabet.
And also, I think the purpose between a vice and a bad habit is also very important to talk about. Bad habits are often unintentional, where the vice is frequently tied to escapism, self-pleasure, or you're self-medicating.
Like a bad habit.
Yeah.
Being inconsistent. It is what it is. Something you try to fix. You said procrastination to an extent. Overworking yourself. That could be a bad habit. But these are things that you can really fix. A lot of people, I think, have more vices than bad habits.
Yeah.
And they probably feel it's not a vice. One that I think that you did not mention was being attracted to bad people in bad relationships. I think that's a vice. Thinking
I missed that one. Toxic relationship pattern.
Yeah. I've witnessed a lot of people who are either in one or they continue to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just give my 2 cents and I kept losing my money.
You had to go back to our previous episode, listen to it, and worry about yourself?
Listen, I've been practicing that before the episode, but it did give me light to go, you know what? I'm going to mind my business. I lost so many 2 cents. I could have sat there and retired already with it. I am minding my business. If you decide that you want to be in a toxic relationship and you want to argue with me as to why you want to be in a toxic relationship, I don't got the time for it.
Why am I arguing with you about you continuing to be unhealthy?
You can keep it.
Yeah.
I wish you the best. I'm not going to lie to you. It's really hard to see and witness. It's really bad. But this is your choice. You are choosing. One thing that God gave us was free will. You are choosing this. Why am I going back and forth with you for you choosing something that is bad for you and you yelling at me about it? That makes no sense.
Oh, he going back to it, but it's like you saying, you need to get off crack. Oh, but I love crack so much. I love how it makes me feel.
You need to mind your business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like maybe you should get some crack.
But guess what? When I mind my business, then you want to call me about it and complain. That's what drives me crazy. You know you're in a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
It's bad. And you keep going and going and going and going. But then you want to call me about how toxic it is. Then why are you staying? I give my advice. I didn't ask you for it. Yes, you did. You called me. You called my phone.
Like,
So don't call me no
I didn't
more.
give you everything I can give regarding the situation.
I haven't gave you a therapist hotline. And you decided not to use it.
And I even lied and said you lived in the house with me and gave you my EAP so you didn't have to pay for it.
Be careful, you'll get in trouble with that. Because might be listening. He ain't mean it, y'all.
No, I didn't. Because I don't live with people who I would have to listen to about that all the time.
You know, that is true.
Mhm.
But yeah, these vices is crazy. I talked about the gambling. And again, I know people who fit in all of them. I know people who fit in a multitude of them. Gambling and toxic relationships.
Jesus Christ.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot. Is being unhappy a vice? There's some people who just want to live in this unhappiness.
I think people are unknowingly addicted to being unhappy.
Yes. You know what? I have to agree. And then when you call it out, they're ready to fight you. They're not upset because you're wrong. When someone runs right to defense, it's because someone says something that shook your foundation and there was truth behind it. And sometimes when someone throws truth in your face, you get really upset at them and you try to find something. Oh, you're attacking me. You did this. Wait a second. Was that really there? Or were we always conditioned or grew up to the point, in fact, when someone comes at you, the first you do is try to say something about how it was completely wrong. No. You're imagining something that didn't happen because something that was said to you, they kind of put you in your place diplomatically. Well, might not even that. Probably was nice. And you can't take it. It's sad.
Some people know that they are dealing with a vice, or they know that something is a vice, or they know that they're unhappy or whatever else, but they are avoidant and don't want to have to deal with it. So,
because ignorance is bliss sometimes for people, and it's not.
It's bliss until it's affecting your physical health.
But is it really bliss? How can ignorance be bliss? Are you being ignorant? You know this isn't right, and I'm telling you this isn't right, but are you telling me that I'm wrong?
I mean, I guess it can be blissful depending on what the situation is. El Chapo's wife chose to be ignorant, and sis was getting off of private jets and everything. That was bliss.
She ain't know.
She said in court she didn't know a thing.
She ain't know nothing. I didn't know nothing either. I didn't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know anything. Ain't she in jail right now?
The way you just said it sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Listen, no habla inglés.
And no, I think she got arrested because I feel like she was like in charge of it or something.
Listen, I
at
don't
one
know.
point.
She said she didn't know. She didn't know. Look, I'm out of my business. Anywho.
I'm worried about myself, so
I'm worried about myself and what I have to do. I've seen a lot that vices really stop people from really being their authentic selves and really from growing. It really is. It is kind of like a drug. You're so stuck and fixated on this vice, or it becomes so a part of you that it forces you to move in a different direction than the path that you should be dealing with.
well, they say the impact of a bad habit is mild inconvenience or inefficiency, whereas the impact of a vice can lead to self-destruction or even harm others.
Right. Yeah, you bite your nails ain't affecting me. I might say you look crazy and me going, like that looks crazy, but it's not impacting me. But like you said, like a vice, it's affecting your
Yeah,
surroundings.
either you talk about the smoking cigarettes are affecting you directly, but then you're also affecting everyone else around you with secondhand smoke.
That's interesting because we talked about, I said, like gluttony, someone who eats a lot, like, is
Yeah.
it a vice? I mean, I guess it can, like, you continue to eat in such a bad manner. God forbid something happens to you and you pass away due to that, it's going to affect everyone around you with the after effects.
And the gluttony depends if it's linked to stress eating or if you're just a greedy person in general.
So people are greedy.
Yeah, which is a bad habit that can be changed with discipline. Whereas if you're stress eating and things like that, you're trying to escape and pleasure yourself.
You're right. Example of advice with the eating. I think I sent you the video, but I sent it to a few people, a mess, where this lady was on the couch and she pulled out something from McDonald's and it was enough to feed 7 people. And she used her stomach as a table.
This is why I separate myself from social media. I'm glad I didn't see that video because I can't look at stuff like that.
I became so like fascinated and enamored with it.
You were fascinated with it?
I was. I was like, how? Look at me, I'm out of my business, right? You know what profession I'm trying to get into. So I had to, like, I was fascinated with it. How do you get to a point where your stomach became your table? Like, that's crazy to me.
Remember I told you about this girl when I was in middle school? She had a very large breast area, so she would literally pick them up, put them on her desk, and use them as pillows
It's
to
not
sleep.
advice. She'd have big
It's
titties.
not, but that kind of, you talk about the lady with the stomach table kind of reminded me of using your body parts for multiple functions.
You know, yes, but the difference was it probably was natural. If I was in school, how big her breasts were.
I mean, I'm
This
sure
lady-
that probably wasn't healthy, her laying on them like that.
They probably weren't, so that
But
was
a
a
bad
bad
habit,
habit.
yeah.
Lay on her chest was a
Yeah.
bad habit. You having your stomach protrude out to where I can sit on it with me, you, and someone else and have food
I thought you
there
said table,
and
now it's a couch?
and play dominoes on it while we sitting there chit-chatting is a problem.
Okay.
And she won while she was eating. I don't understand how, but that's just what it is. It was bad. It's bad.
She was playing dominoes?
Anywho, so yeah, gluttony could be, it can go between each depending on the circumstance. So that's right. But there are certain things that there is no going back and forth.
I'm glad we're talking about how that gray area with gluttony, because there are also other things like scrolling through social media. When it's a harmless distraction, it's a bad habit. But when you begin to doom scroll, it becomes an addiction because you're doom scrolling all night when you could be asleep, and it's affecting your sleep, and you getting less sleep is affecting your mental health. But also doom scrolling, worrying about what everyone else is doing, it's also affecting your mental health because you're not really focusing on yourself and appreciating what you have going on.
And social media will set you up that way. Like if you scroll on something that you like, it will keep suggesting things that it thinks that you will like. And 99% of the time, it is correct. So you're scrolling on something that's catching your interest. You're like, what else is there? What else is there? It's like gambling.
Yeah.
It's the what if. Now it's the what if. What else can I see? What else can I see?
And TikTok is a setup for that.
Yeah, it really. That's why I'm never really on there. I've posted maybe 3-4 times. I'm not on there. The way it's set up is that it forces you to scroll, and it scrolls on stuff that is popular on purpose. And I did an experiment. I liked one thing just to see what was going to happen, and the next 30 things was that one thing that I liked. I said, "See, this y'all trying to set us up."
I think that TikTok is good though for showing you things that are popular, but also things that aren't. Because you'll see things that have 100,000 likes, or you'll see things that have 6 likes.
Yeah,
and
but But what pops up first?
Yeah, of course, the thing with 100,000 likes,
Of
but
course.
even like that thing with 6 likes could be something that's hilarious.
But
And
it's around the same thing that you just watched though.
yeah, right, yeah, still fits within your algorithm.
Yeah, and that's how they
Yeah.
keep you scrolling.
Yeah.
They don't show you something different. I would like to see something different. And if you're not interested in it, you can put not interested, but that's not how it works.
Yeah, I think they make you can start following like certain hashtags. They start showing you certain things. That's how you control it.
Very social media.
Another gray area, drinking. When you drink just for like occasional fun, it's a habit. But when you start relying on alcohol to cope with stress, it becomes a vice. I even think that relying on alcohol to cope with stress is another gray area because some people drink when they go out.
Because they have anxiety when they go
Yeah,
out.
like me, I have a drink when I'm out because I have social anxiety, but I'm not drinking to where I'm rolled out on the floor throwing up in the street.
I mean, that's different. I mean,
And I'm not doing it often.
And you're not going out every day to have a drink. Like,
Yeah.
you might, like you said, you have a drink to, like, maybe loosen up a little bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's those who, all right, you want to have a drink?
Well, is anybody in here gonna buy me a drink?
We just came for the gym. I want to go home. Or you want a drink? We're just in the house hanging out. Why do we need a drink to have a conversation? That's a problem.
Or even when you're like, oh, good morning, you want a drink?
Good morning, you want a drink?
Yeah. You never experienced that?
No, I did experience someone, though, who, I can't even say it. Oh, man. I'll say this much. They were drinking everywhere, including places that they should not be drinking. Like the gym, work, out in the street. I really can't say who it is. But
Didn't you tell me about a time when you were away in another state and someone had a bar in their car?
Oh, yeah. So, oh my gosh. Yeah. So, literally, he told me to pass him a bottle underneath, under the back seat, underneath his truck. I said, okay. So I pulled the bottle out. He said, not that one. I said, okay. Maybe he wanted something else. I pulled another bottle out. He said, not that one. I said, okay. I pulled another bottle out. He goes, no, it's not that one. And he went and got it himself. And I was like, so I already pulled out 3 bottles and there was a 4th. I said, okay. Then we drove up. I heard clink, 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 clink. I said, wait a second. It wasn't the 3 bottles I was clinking because I had them on the seat, which means there was more bottles underneath there. We just came from having drinks right now. We were going to another bar, which I wasn't drinking, and he was taking shots in the back while he was driving. I said, yeah, you can't drive. I'm not trying to die.
Were they top shelf?
It was on the shelf.
Oh, no.
The funny thing is he made good money.
Mhm.
So when someone is an alcoholic, they don't care about it being top shelf. They just want to drink, which is crazy.
Mhm.
They'll drink anything. You're like, well, I'm buying
I
top
heard a
shelf
story
for-
about someone who was an alcoholic. They didn't have any like drinking alcohol, so they drank rubbing alcohol.
I don't think that's a thing.
No, I think that's why they almost died.
I don't think that's a thing.
No, it's not a thing. but
Rubbing alcohol.
They drank rubbing alcohol.
You read that somewhere?
Yeah. I think it was like a news article or
They need
something.
help.
Yeah. I hope they're still around here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Rubbing alcohol?
Yeah.
They-
Isopropyl alcohol.
They heard
whatever.
alcohol and they could have went blind.
Mm-hmm. You might as well just drink bleach for all that.
What do you do? We ain't gonna mention his name. Sure.
Mm-hmm. That man that's sitting in a house that's of a pale color.
I like his skin.
Well, we don't know what his
I
skin
don't
looks
know,
like.
or his scalp.
How is his scalp orange?
Anywho. What advice would you give someone who sees someone that they care about exhibiting behaviors of a vice?
Oh, that's a tough one. But you really gotta just sit them to the side and just ask them how they're doing. Feel like I noticed that you've been doing this a lot. I just want to make sure like everything's okay. Is there anything you want to talk about? If they say no, I'm fine. Just continue to ask them over time, maybe not day after day after day, but just check in on that person and just let them know that you're here if they ever need to talk about something. How would you do it?
Well, I've had someone, I guess they say is in my life, and they exhibited a vice, and the vice was them being in a toxic relationship. And it's not the first. And they will call with their problems all the time. And I gave advice. I said, listen, I'm always here. But then it got to a point where every conversation turned into that.
Mm-hmm.
And it began to affect me. So I would sit there and say, like, look, every time you call, this is what it is. And the person will always get upset. And I'm like, well, yeah, this is where it's turning into. And then the conversation kept going left. So I put my foot down. Listen, here's therapy. here's this, and it always was an excuse. And when someone had advice, to me, it's like an addiction. Like, it's hard for you to give advice to someone who is not willing to change or accept the fact that this is a problem. And long story short, me and this person no longer speak.
That's unfortunate.
For them, it is.
I mean, it's unfortunate for you too. Not that you're losing out, but that you were building a relationship with that person and it went south because they didn't want to do better for themselves.
I wish them the best, but there's sometimes like vices can ruin relationships. I remember working in FAO Schwartz, that's a throwback, and a young lady, she told me, I worked with her, she said her mother and her father, like, they're not together. And I was like, sure, it's fine. Like, I still have a relationship with my father, but my mom never forgave him. And I was like, what happened? She said my father had a really bad gambling addiction, and he gambled our house away.
Oh, no.
And when he put the wedding ring also up, she kind of found out and stopped it, but she ended up leaving. And I'm like, you just sat there and jeopardized both your wife and your child for gambling, their well-being. She was done and she moved on. I'm like, you ruined a relationship because you was addicted to gambling.
Good for the daughter for forgiving him too.
Yeah. I mean, that's her father, so there's, whatever. But the wife was like, I am so good.
Yeah.
She said,
well, hopefully she's doing better now.
Huh?
Hopefully she's doing better now.
Who, the mother?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope she is. The daughter I care for, she wasn't a really nice person. I'm glad I don't speak to her no more. But she shared that story with me, and it was the first time I heard gambling ruin a relationship. I've never heard that before. You always hear cheating and whatever, but like you never hear gambling being the reason why someone's no longer together.
Like you hear about that more and more now, which is wild.
So I want to leave y'all guys with this. It's okay to have a bad habit. We are humans. We have habits. We do things. The goal is to pretty much understand it, see what's going on, be honest, and then try to fix it. Bad habits can turn into vices. And sometimes they're hard to go backwards. Like you get so stuck in them that you don't even know you're having it. But I just implore someone, if someone you care about is trying to give you advice and help, just pay attention. If you see anything that you're doing is affecting relationships with people that you care about or stopping you from growing, then you should look inward and see what is going on. Like, it is okay to sit there and be like, you know what? This is obviously toxic, but it's very hard for people to break those cycles. But do not feel away when certain people are no longer in your life because you decided to move a certain type of way.
And just to sum it up, bad habits are things you should break, while vices are things you need to break, or at least manage before they take control of your life.
We're going to leave you out with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not leaving quite just yet because Lisa from New Jersey has a question from us.
Okay, Lisa. All right.
I need some advice.
That's why she started it?
Yeah, she's stressed out. My 51-year-old mom always dresses like she's competing with me instead of being my parent, wearing crop tops and tight outfits that have people thinking we're the same age. It's mad embarrassing, especially when my friends start making jokes. How do I tell her to dress her age without sounding like a hater? Just like that.
It's something I want to say. Lisa, I live for you. Lisa. I live for you. But if your mom is dressing young, which she needs to stop, but people think y'all the same age, are the mommies aging really, really well in the face? Or, Lisa, what's going on? Why do you think y'all the same age?
You drinking enough water?
Maybe Lisa's not. Maybe Lisa's stressed out.
Maybe Lisa has a vice of drinking alcohol all the time.
Well, mom is 51. Mm-hmm. The crop top needs to stop. It has to stop. Like, it needs to stop. Like, mom.
No raindrop crop top?
Raindrop crop top? Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on. No, honestly, I'm pretty sure you have a close relationship. Talk to your mom. Mom, listen, love you. You look great. I think you're aging very well. Body is tea, all that good stuff. You need to dress your age. Ma, I love you. I'm pretty sure she's an adult. We're having this conversation. The crop tops need to stop. Like, they need to stop. Put on a sunflower dress. You can still look great at 51.
What's
51's not old.
Sunflower dress?
Huh?
What's a sunflower dress?
Like one of those floral, nice dresses that cover your body. Might show a little shoulder, a little peekaboo cleavage maybe. But the crop tops and the tight skirts and the booty shorts and not like no, And the friends are talking mess too. Come on.
Well, she ain't saying anything about booty shorts.
I'm assuming she got that too. The friends are talking mess though. The friends. Mm-hmm, and we grown. She's like, yo, your mom look crazy.
They
like,
said, oh, Miss Lisa's mom, come out to play.
That's what you got on again? Because not like we're like teenagers. Like I'm pretty sure I don't even know how old the kid is.
I'm like, Lisa, is she wearing your clothes or is she going out and buying those clothes?
She probably buying them.
I don't know. Well, she didn't say my mom's taking my clothes. She
didn't say that.
So maybe her mom's going to like Rainbow.
Her mom probably going to some designer places and getting stuff that whatever. I'm pretty sure
I don't imagine Lisa's mom going to
I know Lisa's
Nordstrom
mom,
or Neiman Marcus buying stuff.
Who knows? I know Lisa mom buys tea because if she's 51 years old, no one said they say she look crazy. They say she's not dressing appropriately. I mean, and people thinking that she's her age. And I'm assuming that Lisa's probably maybe mid-20s. Mom's aging great.
It makes me think about that episode of Abbott when Cheryl Lee Ralph was scared of being a grandmother, so she started dressing young.
And she her 60s, I didn't understand. But look, Cheryl Lee Ralph is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. But you can't wear no crop tops and booty shorts.
Yeah, no. Especially not year-round, if that's what's happening.
Listen, if mom want to show up her body when it's time for the summer, go on the beach, wear a nice little bathing suit that's age appropriate.
Yeah, like Judge Judy.
Yeah, and look nice.
Because Judge Judy's eating.
Judge Judy.
You ain't seen those pictures of her on the yacht in her bikini?
On one of her yachts she has? No, I didn't see it.
I'll pull it up now so we can talk about it.
I mean, it's very hard to tell parents what to do, what not to do, but you should have that conversation. It's like, I'll put it this way. Lisa's mom, you had your time.
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah, Judge Judy buys tea.
See, this is appropriate. She's giving it and she's covered up at the same time. Mm-hmm. So, Lisa, send us your email. Well, we have it. We're going to send you a picture of what she should look like. Or just Google Judge Judy on vacation and you'll see it.
Yeah, so just say Judge Judy should be her inspo. She's also, Judge Judy's from Brooklyn, so she's like our Northeast type of sister. Mm-hmm. So they can vibe off of each other and she can just really inspire her style.
Absolutely.
Without the robe. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
I feel like time just goes by really fast now.
It does. You know, the episodes are shorter, so. We hope you guys had a good time. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so hit that subscribe button to stay locked in. Let's keep the vibe going. Follow us at Anxious Wild on social media and visit anxiouswild.com to learn more about the show and all the extras. Need a dose of self-care that actually hits? Sign up for The Selfish Edit, your go-to for affirmations, playlists, and powerful self-help tools that keep you grounded. And if you have a dilemma, such as Lisa, just slide into our DMs or email hi@anxiouswild.com and we'll get back to you.
And listen, I'm big on affirmations.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Affirmation.
Well, I affirm that you will hear from us next week.
That's right. And every week going forward because you're never going to get sick of us.
Bye.
Bye.